I'm Jill Slaughter, Chief Curator and Head of Cultural Projects for the City of Pembroke Pines. We're here today at Armstrong Dream Park to dedicate a bench to the memory of Terry T. Sherman. The city is just about to break ground on our new city center, and Terry was a proponent of the arts long before we were going to do that and have an art gallery there. So to honor Terry and all that she did to lay the stage for us as a city dedicated to the arts, I designed a bench about a year and a half ago, consulted some people on what Terry's essence was, commissioned an artist, Diana Contreras, to paint a painting, and here we are today at the park to see this beautiful bench.
Hello everybody. Well, as you can see, it's a gorgeous Pembroke Pines Chamber of Commerce Day here at the William B. Armstrong Dream Park. We're here today dedicating this park on behalf of Terry T. Sherman, whose idea was all about this park. So we have a beautiful bench that was created by a great artist, and we heard from her son who read some of her poems. So it's just, we have a lot of people out here who remember Terry T. So I'm just honored and just to be here today.
Thank you for being out here again. It's Sunday, it's beautiful, it's a great start to our week, and like I said, we have a special dedication going on. Someone was very dear to my heart, made this happen. With all her ideas and all her dreams, we are now at the William B. Armstrong Dream Park, and I'm going to bring up my boss, Chuck Vonis, the Director of Recreation and Cultural Arts, to tell you a little bit about what's going on here. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me. Chuck Vonis, Director, where are you?
Thank you, Francie. And again, welcome to William B. Armstrong Dream Park. Today's a very special day. One of our very special residents passed away, and we are dedicating a functional piece of art to this park. And we're going to have events here related to that piece of art. And at this time, I'm going to bring up the mayor of our great city, Mayor Frank C. Orders.
Thank you, Mr. Vonis. Hi. Hello. You like this better than 46 degrees?
Yeah.
Me too. Well, this is a gorgeous park. We just love our dream park. Yeah. And that truly is what it is. Because you can see we have lifeguards on duty, all of our parks and recreation people. Can you fish in here?
No fishing.
No fishing, I knew that. But you can rent a boat, you can do all that. Look at all the beautiful monuments. It's just a gorgeous place. And if you haven't been to the Jazz in the Pines, you need to come. It is just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so with that, let me introduce our commission. We've got the Vice Mayor of our great city, Jay Schwartz. Jay. We've got Commissioner Carl Schechter. Commissioner. Commissioner Iris Seipel. Oh, let me just bring up the Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor, would you like to say a couple words?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Terry T., very special person in the hearts and minds of Pembroke Pines. Dream Park was just one of her visions. If you knew Terry T., you knew she was one of a kind-hearted individual who created visionary and challenged the City Commission to think big. And I'm just pleased that we're able to honor her today, and that her memory will live on forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Schechter.
The mayor reminded me that I have to be brief. It's an inside joke. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry T. Sherman was unique in this city or any city. The thing that comes to my mind when I think about Terry was that iconic line in the movie On the Waterfront when Marlon Brando says to his brother Charlie, "Charlie, I could have been a contender, I could have been somebody." Well, Terry T. Sherman was not a contender, she was a champion. And she was somebody. What I remember about Terry is I always looked forward to seeing what she was wearing. I don't think I ever saw her wear the same thing twice. And the other thing that I looked forward to when I saw Terry was what was her poem going to be for that week? Because she always had something to say. She was outspoken, she was smart, she was beautiful, She was charming, and she had class. When we on the commission did something right, she applauded us. When we did something wrong, she criticized us. And when we did something dumb, she scolded us. And she was always right. So today, although Terry is gone, with the dedication of that bench, she will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone. I always think when the mayor says be brief that it's always pointed at me, so oh well. I just want to thank you again for all coming out here today and to tell you a little bit about what I thought about Terry T., which was she certainly was a woman of mystery. We weren't quite sure what her before life was. She shared some of it with us, but there was always a mystery about her. Like, what did she come with? What did she bring to the table? What was she doing in Pembroke Pines, and why was Pembroke Pines so much of a loved spot for her? Definitely, she was flamboyant in her appearance, her clothing. I still remember very lovingly my grandson, who was very small at the time. We ran into her at one of the shopping places, and she always spoke to the children. They were always one of her biggest issues was the kids. And she had on her usual very flamboyant outfit. And as she walked away, my little grandson, who was probably about 4 at the time, said, "Grandma, why does that woman have on a belt that has hands on it?" And it was a beautiful embellished belt with hands, clasping hands on it. And I remember that to this day, that was really Terry T. She was beautiful, she embellished everything, and she always tried to make hands clasped to do things together as groups. She certainly started out here in the city with a group that was called Our Part of the Woods. And it was an organization that tried to bring homeowners together to talk about their issues and to get to the city representatives to let them know the issues and to how we could improve and fix those issues. One of her biggest loves, as I said, was the children. And as part of Our Part of the Woods, one of the little spinoffs from that was all the fundraisers and stuff that she did throughout the years that was able to be taken back to our teachers and our school systems to help them, because she knew that they always had to take so much money out of their own pockets in order to be able to give those extra things to our kids. So the kids were absolutely her love, nature was her love, and of course her family was her love. For those of you who had an opportunity to meet her husband, Don, he was quite a unique character as well. And I remember him often telling me, "I can't talk anymore, I have to go because I have to prepare Terry's meal." And he was a great cook and loved cooking for her, and it was a wonderful relationship that they had for many, many years. And their 2 children, she could not have been prouder of any of you. She never had a conversation that either Corey or Scott was not mentioned in that conversation, and what they were doing at the time and how proud she was of them. So she absolutely was an example of what folks in Pembroke Pines can strive to be, and we all loved her for all the things she brought forward. And today's opening here with this bench for her is so apropos, and everybody that comes into this park, which was really her baby, her brainchild, well, as they enter the park, will be able to see that and remember all the good stuff that she did and all that she hoped for Pembroke Pines. So we really have that to keep on her legacy, Mayor, and to keep forward with all the good things she liked. So thank you all, and thank you for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I introduce the family, let me say a couple of words. Terry T. was unique. I'm the longest sitting commissioner of any here, and I remember Terry T. so well. She lived in Grand Palms along with Donald, great mastermind husband. And Terry T. would come to me and say, it was my district, she would say, "You need to clean up the streets in Pembroke Pines." I said, "Well, if you feel so strongly about it, why don't you do it?" The next week, Terry T. had vests on. She brought it over to my office. I put a vest on, out in the streets. She had signs put up, cleaning up our city. And there we are on the streets, bagging garbage, picking up. Remember that? Up and down Pines Boulevard. Then she says, "You know, too many auto dealers in Pembroke Pines." Next thing I know, Terry T's got a bunch of people with picket signs about the auto dealers. Then she says, "You know what? too many restaurants in the city. Next thing I know, Terry T's got picket signs for too many restaurants. But I said, Terry, you can't get in on weekends. So somebody is, supporting these great restaurants in our city. If she can only be here now. If she can only be here now and see 167,000 residents of our award-winning city. And Terry T, as the rest of the commissioners have said, was just so flamboyant, but in her flamboyancy, she just was great. I mean, she came to the commission meeting and sat in the front row. And she had a poem for us every commission meeting. And I said to her, Ms. Sherman, with all due respect, you have 3 minutes. So she got up to the mic and she said, just remember who you're talking to, Mayor. And I did. So it is just my pleasure and our whole commission to introduce one of her sons, Corey, now to come up and give us a little more. Wants to read one of her most eloquent poems. I haven't heard it yet, but Corey, come on up.
I found the poem that she wrote when she initiated the idea of the Dream Park. And this is dated June 7th, 1995. How great it is to be alive when where you live is West I-75. It's wonderful to have a home, a yard, a pool, a barbecue, but after a while the mind starts to roam when there are only the two of you. How much better would it be if we could share a magic place where ideas could grow like a tree in an intellectually active space, and everyone could bring their dreams, their very wildest creative schemes, and we could stage dramatic themes. Singers could sing and dancers dance, and singles clubs promote romance. The garden clubs could proliferate, and the Toastmasters would pontificate. What I propose is a wondrous park where grown-ups can nightly congregate, and when the day turns into dark, we meet and lightly contemplate a deck of cards, a poem, a song, a gorgeous man-made atmosphere. It's true, the home is what we brought, but the Dream Park's what will keep us here. For man does not exist to be a one-dimensional entity. We've long since passed the era when you worked and worked and worked again. When the furniture's bought and the carpet's laid and you're able to get a part-time maid and the pool is filled, you'll suddenly find the only thing empty is your own mind. But just as light turns into dark, you'll find yourself in our Dream Park. All right, here's the address that she gave on the date that the commission voted to approve this park. 'Twas the night before voting, and all through City Hall, the commissioners were floating. They were having a ball. There were parks to be built and money to spend, $17 million when laid end to end. The vote and the agenda was their bi-monthly duty to see which park would get what part of the booty. The swim park, a cool, watered-down $4 million. The baseball park, easily $7 million bill. Way down on the list at $1.2 million, the Dream Park revolves on the twist of a screw. For what is proposed is a portable stage, portable lights and portable sound. None of us really are on the same page of portable people and portable ground. I remind you that hockey is part of the scheme. In Shakespeare's time, Puck was part of Midsummer Night's Dream. Imagine Bill Shakespeare on Spring Valley's Dream Portable, where the noise of the hockey rinks renders speeches inaudible. I personally think this plan's unsupportable, and don't tell us a permanent stage ain't affordable. You question if 500 people will run to the Dream Park? I trust with all my heart, if you build it, believe it, they will come. Don't put us on notice that the park is triable. To the adult population, it's infinitely viable. And in the event you're undeniable, remember the first words in the Bible. In the beginning, there was the Word, and it was on a permanent stage that it was first heard. Good 3 minutes. All right.
That was hard.
I want to leave you with this one for two reasons. First of all, it's my favorite of her poems, and the second is that when I saw the wonderful design for what's about to be unveiled, I thought this was the appropriate poem to read to dedicate what we're about to see. And I can just imagine people sitting at this bench that we're about to see, having something that goes like this. I passed two people sitting tight, so tight that two appeared as one. Their speech was loud, their hands in flight, they called each other dear and hon. So deep were they in concentration, they did not see my curious ear. I'll share with you their conversation, you'll feel as though you too were there. He said, my dear, we're getting older. She said, how lucky, ain't life grand? She laid her head against his shoulder. He reached out to hold her hand. I'm getting bald and just beginning to get up 4 times in the night. She answered, my hair too is thinning. I'm losing teeth and weight and height. He said, I'm made of silicone. Nothing seems to stick to me. My mind, once able to work alone, now needs your better memory. She answered, I can drive all day, but heaven help me in the dark. When evening comes, the only way I drive is when I have to park. With that, they seemed to settle deeper into their space, serenely calm. They knew they were each other's keeper, yet each had sounded an alarm. Have you ever noticed that after a while, people tend to resemble each other? I can remember, he said with a smile, my father, in time, looked like my mother. And time, he continued, plays many games that get you crazy and irritated. You forget the faces, forget the names, and you stand like a fool, humiliated. As they kept talking, she'd start a phrase, he'd interrupt to finish it. They turned it around 1,000 ways, but never seemed to diminish it. He'd say, just look, she'd say, no, wait. He'd try again, she'd hesitate. They talked as they had held the phone, yet neither of them ever spoke alone. The hour was late, yet still they sat, reluctant to give up the day. I had to leave, even knowing that they still had so much more to say. Isn't that what life's about? We never want good times to end. And even as I'm bowing out, I feel I'm leaving as a friend. We'll meet again. You might not see me lurking behind a listening tree. So be careful what you say and do. The next poem's subject may be you. Thank you very much for doing this.
Well, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That certainly was a rendition of Terry T. Let me just give a quick story before I introduce Jill Slaughter. Just imagine this park, fallow park, trees, nothing on it. And then the city commission, through the urging of Terry T., decides to build this dream park. Look to your left and you'll see a big berm, you'll see trees. There was a gentleman who lived over there that was so irate about this park that he ended up having a heart attack. True story. Had a heart attack. Made us build a berm and didn't want us to build this park. Do you remember? When we built this park, this gentleman came up to me personally and said, I was wrong. You were right. It's a gorgeous park. Terry T., as much as you were so great for children, and Donald, for everything you did, always for the kids, always, the mayor would get a call, Mayor, I need money. Terry, Mayor, you know, raise some money. And again, we'd raise some money, you know. So that was Terry T., and we love her. She's here. She's here. Oh yeah, she's here. And Donald's here, enjoying our park. All right, let me bring up Jill Slaughter. Jill, introduce, make some introductions.
Good afternoon, I'm Jill Slaughter. I'm the Chief Curator for the City of Pembroke Pines, and it's nice to see so many people here in what began as just an idea by Terry T. And so now, as Pembroke Pines begins to move forward as a cultural destination, breaking ground on our city center, which is soon to happen, it was about 1.5 years ago, I took some time to think, how do we honor the people who really set the stage for us to be a city that's dedicated to the arts? And I got some information about Terry T. Sherman, and I designed a bench, and then I commissioned an artist to capture the essence of Terry. And I said she loved children, she loved to read, she loved poetry, she was flamboyant, she was colorful, she loved jewelry, she wore big hats, and you're soon to see the image that the artist came up with based on the information that we gave her. We're so lucky that her son Corey was able to come down, and that so many people come here on a regular basis in a city that is truly dedicated to the arts. So I'm going to be programming events here at the bench. There'll be poetry readings, there'll be storytelling. If you are a storyteller, if you are a poet, if you are a singer, whatever you do, I'm easy enough to find on the city's website. Contact me, and I'll make sure that you get a chance to say your, whatever you do at the bench. Thank you so much.
All right, we certainly want to mention Mayor William B. Armstrong, who the commission decided to name this park after, the Terry T. Sherman Dream Park, William B. Armstrong Park, and we're so proud of him as well. All right, let's go ahead and we'll go to the unveiling. All right, everybody follow us. We'd like to present the Art and Culture Board and our commission. We'd like to present you this rendering for your great mother, Terry T. Thank you so much. All right.
Hello, my name is Diana Contreras. I am an artist here in South Florida. I was contacted by Jill Slaughter, the chief curator of Pembroke Pines, and I did this piece for Terry T. Sherman. She was somebody who really gave a lot to her community in the arts, music, and culture. She always wanted to enrich her community, and I was just so honored to be able to capture her essence in this piece, and just the way that Jill curated this, the way that she made the benches so beautiful. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and just an honor.
Hi, I'm Corey Sherman, Terry T. Sherman's son. Today was a day where this wonderful plaque and bench in honor of my mother was dedicated. I could not have imagined a more perfect tribute to my mom than a beautiful bench like this where people can sit, read, and contemplate, with a painting that shows a flamboyant lady wearing a flamboyant hat. My mom was nothing if not flamboyant. She had a dream for a park where people could go and do what she called adult activities. Listen to music, have a picnic, have conversations, read, and look at beautiful scenery. This park is beautiful. This park is exactly what she imagined. And this bench, in loving memory of Terry T. Sherman, right next to the water and right in view of the stage, could not have been better designed. And of course, if anybody knew my mom, you'd realize this painting captures her essence like nothing else could. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so happy that the city did this for her.